Good morning, Internet fans. Ryan Perry here, Simple Biz Support. Today is Wednesday, June 8th. Therefore, it is Social Media Wednesday. And as usual, I have Sarah Giametti with Pervaro Marketing. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Both wearing blue again. Maybe I'm just going to make this my everyday Wednesday or my every Wednesday shirt. That way there's more consistency because marketing is all about consistency, right?
Right. If we always represent in our Dodger blue, they'll keep winning.
There you go. We can only hope. Today, we are going to talk about using social media to drive sales to. We've got kind of two angles on this. One is if you actually have a brick and mortar store, how can we drive more sales there? But what if you actually sell a product that is in a store and you want, but you don't really have any brand awareness out there? How can you use social media to drive that? So when people actually see your product in the store, they're like, oh, I want to buy that.
Right. I've had a couple of prospects lately that I've talked to that have had exactly that problem. It's not their brick and mortar store, but they didn't have enough brand recognition that they got into a couple stores, and which would have been really great for them. But nobody knew who they were. They knew nothing about their product, so the product didn't move off the shelves, and the store is not going to keep it. So then it's also if you're opening a fairly new brick and mortar, how do you drive people from social media on to come into your store? And so, but you can use a lot of the similar techniques for both of these scenarios. And we'll start with the one that doesn't have their own brick and mortar. If you're trying to get into stores, hopefully they're going to check you out and see if you have social proof, if you've got a following online, to see if people actually know who you are beyond if your product's good or not. Because again, if nobody knows who you are, this stuff's not going to move, especially if it's something that's not just an inexpensive, I'll give it a shot, I don't care. Because there always is a little bit of brand loyalty that you've got to battle against with shoppers.
Well, and the other thing is you got to deal with the buyer. You got to convince the buyer to give up the space in order to put your product in there. And so if you can come in and go, look, I've got this community of people who are eager to buy locally versus just buying off my website, that's more incentive of, okay, let's put your product on the shelves.
Right. Especially if it's a local brick and mortar that you're trying to get into. And because you can also drive, once you get in there, you walk in, you say, I've got this community, they buy from me, they'd love to be able to buy it from a local store. Once you can convince the buyer to put you on their shelves, you can utilize your social media community to drive them into that particular store. You can promote, hey, we're now in this store. You can run a special that can, in conjunction with that store, to drive people into it. But you've also, before you've walked in that store, you've taught this community about your story, your background, your philosophy, why you do what you do, why your product's great. Maybe you offered a free sample so people have tried, if it's a consumable product. Maybe you've offered them a free sample so that they could try your product, and then you drive them into a store to buy it because they love it. So there's a lot of ways that even if it's your brick and mortar or somebody else's brick and mortar, to leverage a community online to drive them into that.
Okay. So I guess the big question then becomes, well, and I don't know if we want to get into this per se today, is how do we build that community online? Because that's a whole nother story. So we have to assume you've already built a community through social media, good content. You should have a good product out there that people are actually interested in. So now that we have this community and we want to drive traffic to the store, what are some exact promotions that somebody could actually write down and go, oh, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this.
Well, yeah, it starts with building that community, and they've got to want your product, but you can do a promotion. Obviously, if it's not your brick and mortar, you need to have their buy-in. You can run a promotion with a coupon, a buy one, get one free, things to get people to walk in the door. Or then the coupon can be in-store only versus, especially if you got an e-commerce store. You don't want them to be able to use it online and then they won't go into that store. Because part of what you want to do to stay, if a brick and mortar store allows you on their shelves, you want to then prove to them that you've leveraged your community to grow sales. And a way to do that is trackable ways. So like a buy one, get one free, or a coupon that's good for a certain day, running promotions that will put people in the doors. And that way the brick and mortar store can see that it's actually working and you're leveraging your community to, because if someone walks into a store to buy one thing, I rarely have walked out of a store with the one thing I walked in for. And I'm pretty sure most people are the same way. And so, because you go, oh yeah, especially if it's consumable products. Oh yeah, I forgot this, I forgot that, even though I walked in for one thing. I see a comment here. QR code is a great way to do it too. I have mixed, I have a mixed opinion about them because a lot of people just don't scan them or don't know how to scan them. But it is something that you can utilize, and it's trackable too. And that's the key, is a way to, once you drive the traffic into the store, is proving that it was your traffic that you drove to that store.
Right, definitely. And if you're talking about a local company, if you're a local company and you're trying to get in a local business, also trying to do some cross promotion, because obviously, if you can bring more business to their store, there should be an interest there. And I'm always interested when working with clients is, who else is in your industry where there's an overlap where we can actually cross promote. And through that cross promotion, you're going to promote our product, we'll promote your product. You talked about one of the clients being coffee. So what activity can you do around that's relevant to people that drink coffee that will bring them in? You go back to even before social media, the old Coke and Pepsi wars. What was that, the 80s or something, where they had the commercials and they had the blind taste test, Coke and Pepsi. Oh my God, I thought it was Pepsi. I can't believe I picked the wrong one. That was kind of, that was some early social media proof type of marketing campaigns that could very well work these days and would be great for social media.
Right. You can do it, have people do it themselves, or doing a taste test. You can promote social media, have an event. People show up to do, we'll use the coffee one. Taste our espresso up against another big name espresso that most people just go to out of convenience, and see which one tastes better. So you can still use the social media to drive people to in-person events. And in the case of this coffee company, by building that following, allowing people to taste it, they'll hopefully see the difference. So if they are coffee connoisseurs, they'll see the difference, they'll enjoy it. And then you can tell them where they are, they can buy it locally, because obviously they can buy it online, but you want to drive them to the local stores because that's where the volume is.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at
reading the comments.
Ultrasound. Angie, it looks like Angie is saying you can make up a day that supports your store product, like a coffee day.
Right. Like, there's, or you can take advantage. I'm sure there's a national day of coffee day, because there's a national day of everything nowadays. If you just Google it, you'll find something.
One up.
And so you can absolutely leverage something like that to have an event to drive people to it. People like to show up for free things. It's reality. They'll try it if it's for free, because they're not out anything.
There's a local business here, Fundemonium, that is kind of like a hobby store, play store. It's kind of an interesting thing, huge space, and they get very social locally. And so if you can find a business owner that's already committed that way, and again, your product overlaps, that is a great way to build community. And it's really easy to promote online. We're going to do a special day of XYZs. With this, if you've got a new RC car, the flying helicopter things, the drones are a big thing. So why not have a drone day and go to your local hobby store and go, look, we've got this cool drone. We want to promote it, and we're going to have a drone day here. And, why not film it? Put it up. You could do Facebook. I love instant these days. What is it called? The instant video on Facebook. Live. Yeah, going live. I've talked to a number of clients. I'm like, I've got a real estate agent who's very involved in the local community, And so she loves to post about local events. And I'm like, you need to get on your phone when you're at that local event and go live and go, hey, come and check me out. I'm here. So as a business owner, it would be really easy for you. It's kind of that guerrilla marketing where you got to get yourself out there. But if you're an unknown and you've got a social media presence and you want to carry that social media presence over, why not go to local retail outlet? Or if it is your own business, start doing some live stuff and go, hey, this is what's new and exciting. And we've got a special on X, Y, and Z today. Come down, mention this video, and we'll do something spectacular for you. I think a lot of things, especially with social media, if you can make it fun and entertaining, then people will want to join, and personable also. The old days of just throwing coupons up, yes, that works, but how can you take that to the next level and actually make it socially engaging and exciting? And the reality is it takes a lot more work. It's not as easy as going, okay, hey, graphic designer, make me something I can throw up on social media that says, go buy my product at XYZ store.
Right. And it's not as easy as just getting into XYZ store as it used to be and having your product move, because we've got so many, even the local stores have so many products. There's so much competition that, and just being local isn't always going to do it. And so you've got to be able to leverage you've got to build a community in the best and not easiest, but the best, most effective, least expensive way to do that is online through social media, building that community. And once you have that community, then you can leverage it to in-person, in live things. So like in the events, driving them to stores, cross promotion. There's a lot of things you can do, but having that online community is really the bottom or the base that you need to build your house upon so that you can reach the goals that you want to reach.
Right. And the other thing I was thinking of is a lot of times you get celebrities, the local radio station host will come down. And if you've got a really big budget, you bring in somebody who's a NASCAR driver, baseball player, whatever, that does an on-store something. With social media, a lot of these kids on Snapchat and Instagram, YouTubers are becoming, within their social media realm, are becoming celebrities. And you could easily, bring one of those people, and be a lot cheaper to bring someone like that in than, Michael Jordan, or I don't know, like Steph Curry, I guess would be a better representation of today, of being able to bring those people, because they're going to have their following come in also. And that's an easy way to attract both online sales and in-store sales. It's just a matter of being a little creative and putting a little work behind it.
Right. And seeing what works and what doesn't. Not everything is going to work for every business. We've talked about a little bit more about consumable products like coffee. But even if you have a clothing store or, I don't know. I don't think those are called consumable. But if you've got physical products, you can just be creative online. And don't worry if an idea you had didn't work, because the great thing with online is a lot of it doesn't cost a lot of money, if any at all. And so if it didn't work, try something else. Or see what part of what you tried, where it broke down, and if you can fix that piece. Maybe you didn't utilize Facebook advertising properly, and so you need to tweak that a little bit for the promotion that you did. It's a living, breathing, moving target. And so versus, graphic designer, create an ad for me, put it in the newspaper. Once that's out, you're SOL if it was wrong. However,
right, and especially if you don't have any tracking behind it. I think that's the biggest downfall of most businesses. I know I'm not 100% on my tracking like I should be. And it's something, levels. I try and improve it on every new campaign. Okay, I'm going to get better at this. Because the reality is numbers don't lie. So if we can track the numbers, we can predict better what's going to work in the future.
Right. So the moral of the story of today is be creative when you build your online community, and then leverage them to help grow brick and mortar in-store sales, whether it's your own store or another person's store that you want to have your product in. And utilize that community to move people through the doors, because that makes you more profitable, more desirable, And once you get into one store and you can prove that, then you've got numbers that you can show, look what I did for store XYZ. So how about you take me on to ABC?
Right. All right, perfect. With that, that's going to end today's show. Next week, unfortunately, we're not going to be around. However, the following week we will, 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. Sarah, as always, I appreciate the time and energy
Pacific.
What's that?
Standard Time.
What did I say? Standard?
You said Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, Eastern Standard Pacific. We're on the West Coast. Sorry, people. I'm not sure where that came from, but we will see you in 2 weeks to talk more about social media and how you can use it in your small business.